Peggy Hall back with you from the healthyamerican.org. Can you believe that we are going through this again? Oh, yes. This is 2024. Actually, it's the middle of 2024, and I am still hearing from healthy Americans who are being confronted with people suffocating their faces. And it's not so much that it's other people, but these are people in what we would call a face-to-face industry. These are our customer service individuals. And in particular, I want to share with you an email that just came in from a longtime healthy American who is exasperated because of what she's experiencing in Orange County, California. I'm going to read that email to you, and then I will share with you some of my, comebacks or what have you when you are faced with someone. I can't really say that you're faced with them because they're not facing you. And perhaps they are uncomfortable about their appearance. I remember asking my husband, Pastor David, why are so many people going around covering their faces? The Bible says, do not fear their faces. And the Bible also says that you are not supposed to cover your face because with your face unveiled, you stand before God and your glory is increased in him. Now, listen, anyone who sincerely believes and chooses to use that medical device and it makes them feel more comfortable and safer, and for whatever reason, go for it. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is the government enforcing people to do that or forcing them, and these employers and other places of public accommodation imposing that on people. That's where I draw the line. I have taught ESL for many years, and I've had foreign students that would come to class wearing these surgical devices. And at first I thought it was very strange coming into an English class because I couldn't hear what they were saying. I couldn't help them with their pronunciation. And it was very difficult to have a conversation because, human beings, in fact, humans and animals, we pick up on facial expressions and so much more that goes on than just the words coming out of our mouth. So I know how disturbing that is. And there are many healthy Americans that need to be able to see a person face to face in order to understand them. I would put myself in that category. It's very difficult for me to understand what someone is saying when they have this suffocation device on their face. So we're going to talk about that. And as I say, there may be some people, my husband said, well, maybe there are people that they don't like what they look like. So putting on that device can give them more confidence because people can't see really what they look like, especially if you put on a pair of sunglasses and you've got that thing on your face. Well, you don't need to worry about whether you need dental care or maybe you've got something on your skin. We're going to talk about skin. I'm kind of trying to lead into my sponsored message here. So why don't we do this? We'll hop right on over to dermal1.com/Peggy. And if you're like me and you do care about your appearance and you want to put your best face forward in public and not hide it behind a mask, well, here is where you can find a free tutorial. This is a surgeon out of California, and he is going to share with you in this video a way to look younger, and you don't have to be rich and famous. This is not a luxury only reserved to those who could afford the costly professional treatments. So he came up with this game-changing discovery that you can learn all about, and he can help you turn back your body's aging switch if this is something that is of interest to you. So this latest anti-aging trend has nothing to do with aggressive treatments or surgeries or expensive creams. He refers to it as a simple daily ritual that takes less than a minute to perform. So it's very effective. It has nothing to do with your age, and you can learn all about it by watching this video that has been viewed thousands of times. And women are reporting that they are feeling firmer feeling skin, fewer visible wrinkles, and some are reporting thicker looking hair and increased energy as well. I've been telling you about this product, so if you are at all interested, check it out. I will have a link for you in the description box below, dermal1.com/Peggy. And this is for you if you are interested in looking significantly younger without the cost and hassle of seeing a professional. So find out about this science-backed shortcut that is certainly worth trying at home. All right, friends. Let's talk about this distressing trend that certainly is happening in California. And I want to share with you this email that just came in from a Healthy American. And she said, "Hi, Peggy. I'm sorry for emailing so often. I usually don't email more than once in a while, but I'm noticing that many grocery store employees are wearing the suffocation device. They're covering their faces." She says, "I try to avoid talking to them, and I try to avoid going into their lines because they're disturbing to me. I needed to talk to the manager at the store today," she writes, "about a passed out druggie by their front door. And I asked the security guard if I could talk to a manager who was not covering his face. The masked manager refused to let me talk to the bare-faced manager. How do you like them apples?" She writes, "Around and around we went. I would like to talk to a manager without a mask." "No," the masked man said. "What is it you need?" She said, "I want to talk to a manager without a mask." She said they just went around and around. And then she said, "I would like to get the name and phone number of the district manager." And get this, the manager refused. Then, she writes, "The bare-faced manager came out from the office right in front of me. He asked how he could help me. I told him that I thought he would like to know that there's a druggie completely passed out right next to their front door." And then she writes, "Peggy, I hope that other Healthy Americans will try their best to let general managers or district managers know that they do not want to talk to these masked employees. If we let them know, maybe they will put a little bit of pressure on their employees." She said, "I spoke to the general manager at a different grocery store company several months ago, and I told him that I don't like talking to the masked employees because it's so hard to understand them, and it's disturbing to me." He said that he understood, but he couldn't tell them not to wear them. So I asked, "How far will you allow them to go in order for your employees to feel safe? Will you let them wear a moon suit? You really should think about how far you want them to go," she says. So I just wanted to mention this in case you want to bring this up in an email or on a video. I hope and pray that all of the, well, we don't like to call them mandates, all of the ridiculous requirements, the police being called, people being arrested, etc., does not start up again. It was so hard to live and breathe back in those days as you experienced yourself. Thank you for doing so much. So I'm very glad that Sharon wrote this email. I love getting your emails. It is something that I rely on when I'm thinking about the videos that I want to bring to you, because if you've got these concerns, it's likely that others have as well. Before I tell you what I would do in this case, let me know if you found yourself face-to-face, almost face-to-face with those that are still self-suffocating, and if that bothers you and what you've done about it. And I think what Sharon did is actually the best thing. You try to avoid going to that checkout stand, or you could ask to speak to a manager. And I would think that you are within your rights to say, "I would like to be waited on by someone that I can understand and whose face I can see," because it has a detrimental effect on human interaction when somebody has their face covered. Now, on the flip side, it's very interesting that the manager said that he can't stop his employees from doing that, or he can't tell them not to wear them. That is really interesting, and it's something that does, I think, require a little more digging. On the one hand, if someone, I guess, wants to wear a certain kind of glasses or a bow in their hair or type of jewelry, I guess as long as it's not in the job description or your employment agreement that you can't do those things, then I suppose putting something on your face, if it's not specifically prohibited in your employment contract, I suppose that's what they're relying on. On the flip side, the employer could say that we require clear communication, unobstructed communication, and we want the customer to be able to understand you clearly. This is something that I spoke about a long time ago in restaurants, where the server would have something on their face. And because you're sitting down, of course, you don't have to wear one. Obviously, I never went to a restaurant like that. I never complied with any of that. Hashtag never have, never will. But it occurred to me that a person trying to have a conversation, for example, with the server in a restaurant, asking about ingredients or something, and they couldn't hear clearly, they couldn't hear them clearly, that actually could be a life and death situation if something happened and the person was eating something that they couldn't because they misunderstood or couldn't hear what that person said. I find it very disturbing, and stick with me because tomorrow, I'm airing this now Thursday live, and tomorrow I've got a video for you, which pretty much has been banned from many platforms. I can't believe that I found it. And this is from a TV show many years ago, and it actually addresses this very scenario of people being having their faces obscured at restaurants. And it was supposed to be something that was humorous. And apparently the powers that shouldn't be went around just scraping that from the internet. And luckily I did find one copy, and hopefully that video is not going to be taken down when I air it tomorrow. For those of you that actually want some specific responses, if you are being requested to suffocate again, I have a whole list of items over at my Substack, peggyhall.substack.com. It's under resources. I have about 75 responses for what you can say when someone wants you to suffocate. I would say about half of them are sincere and about half of them are bordering on snarky, but they all are thought-provoking and they all are legitimate if someone is requiring you to do that. There is a longtime healthy American that is still being harassed by a medical center in Southern California. And I don't want to call it, Scripps in San Diego. So instead, I'll just refer to it as Scripps in San Diego. And he has been fighting with them, I think, for well over a year, trying to get in to see a doctor who will not see him unless he suffocates. And he has all sorts of medical exemptions, religious exemptions. He's brought all of the laws. And I think I'm going to do a video as a refresher on that for everyone coming up, because he has studied my materials and he did such an excellent job of compiling and summarizing all of the laws that protect you if you're in California. And if you're not in California, we have done the footwork for you. And we have the non-discrimination laws in, I think, nearly every state in the United States. And we have done that at a great cost of man hours and time and effort and research. And so we've done that as a fundraiser for our organization. And you can also find those over at thehealthyamerican.org. You click on products and classes and you can see all of the states that we have available. So if that's something of interest to you, it is really an information piece where you can be educated, you can educate others. I recommend that you get this notarized, meaning you sign it in person in front of a notary. And when or if you are faced with a situation where they want you to suffocate, you can show them this nice notarized document that has all of the laws that they would be violating. So that's one way of educating and informing others about your rights. Let me know if this is something that's going on in your area. Are you seeing more and more people wearing the suffocation devices? I've also got a video coming up for you as well. I think I'll air that tomorrow. And that is about how to refuse the flu requirements if you find that you are being pressured and coerced to do that. And I forgot to mention in this upcoming video, I just showed you the form that they want you to fill out for the flu, but you have the same rights of no consent. You have the same rights to object, just like you would to the cooties cocktail or any other. So hope that's helpful for you, friends. Thank you so much for being on board. I appreciate all of you here. Big shout out to the moderators. And remember, I am here Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And don't wait for those notifications because they probably won't come. But do me a favor. Would you please resubscribe to this channel? Give the video a like if you found that it was helpful for you. I want to thank all of you that are sharing this channel. I'm still heavily shadow banned, which means my videos are not being promoted by the algorithm because YouTube, I guess, believes that I have truth that is too hot to handle. All right. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's broadcast.